My favorite movie to watch as a kid was the film Interstellar, released in 2014. It follows an astronaut portrayed by Matthew McConaughey. Now, I know, as fellow Aggies here, it'd be a little bit unfortunate that Matthew McConaughey is the main lead actor, but I digress. Matthew McConaughey, the lead actor, is an astronaut who works for NASA in this case, and he's trying to find a new suitable home planet for the people of Earth to live on. Now, if you're asking yourself, well, why is Earth looking for a new planet to live on? And in this case, it's because the year is 2067 in the film Interstellar, and a plethora of dust storms have ravaged the Earth, destroying nearly all the crops on the planet's surface. And of course, without crops, without food, you're going to have a pretty hard time living on the planet. If you're telling yourself, well, this is a pretty fantastical world, we don't really have too much to worry about here. And if you would be saying that, you'd be dead wrong. That's why the film, at least in my opinion, is one of the best films, if not my favorite film, that I've watched, is because of its very accurate depiction of a futuristic Earth. And if we continue down the path we're on, well, this Earth, our Earth, might not look too different than the one you see in Interstellar. One of the main problems, one of the main factors leading to this futuristic, uninhabitable Earth is actually the continued increase of global carbon emissions, which continues to be one of the most prominent issues in the field of environmental engineering. Some of the solutions to this problem of increased global carbon emissions include cleaner energy sources, reduced industry emissions, and simply reforestation. All of these three approaches are definitely plausible, and I'll go over some of the pros and cons of each of these three approaches, and specifically which one I believe to be the best one. If I had to choose one, which one I would say is the best approach to reducing global carbon emissions. So let's start with cleaner energy sources. Well, I'm sure you've heard of the big three of solar energy, wind energy, and hydropower. And don't get me wrong, each of these three are very, very good and sustainable renewable energy sources. But there are also a few others that you might not have heard of, including geothermal energy, which draws energy from very hot water sources underground, and biomass energy, which draws energy from things like wood, manure, trash, vegetable oils, and crop residues, actually. So with these renewable forms of energy, if we're able to reduce a lot of the not so good forms of energy in the world, such as fossil fuels and oils, then we'd significantly reduce the amount of global carbon emissions. There are also some political advancements in the means of renewable energy. Recently, in 2017, 22 countries agreed to pledge $30 billion annually towards the research and development for cleaner energy sources, which is a huge development in the terms of finding better renewable energy sources, especially going forward in the scientific community. And the main drawback, you might be telling yourself, well, this is some pretty good information here. I'm leaning towards renewable energy as the best means of reducing global carbon emissions. The big drawback here is that the fact that big oil, as I'm sure you're aware, has really a vice grip on global energy at the moment, global energy and global politics. And as long as big oil continues to have that vice grip, I find it very difficult for renewable energy sources to take over as the leading sources of energy. What about industry emissions? Well, industry emissions account for 36% of global carbon dioxide emissions as of a 2010 study conducted by Allwood. And included in this 36% are five main categories: steel, which accounts for 9%, cement, which accounts for 7%, paper, aluminum, and thermoplastics, which each account for 1.5%. Now, of these of these five sources, four are completely recyclable. The one not being recyclable being cement, of course. And it was predicted in this 2010 study, again Allwood, that by the year 2050, all of these four recyclable forms of industry emissions could be recycled to the rates of steel from 65% currently to 90%, paper from 43% currently to 81%, aluminum from 39% currently to 90%, and thermoplastics currently from 5% to 30%. And with these predicted and very reasonable jumps in recycling rates, we would reduce a great percentage of global carbon dioxide emissions. Now, unfortunately, the natural increase of population with the global exponential increase mitigates this success rate of increased recycling of industry products. And as the global population continues to increase, we will find that even if we recycle these products such as steel, paper, aluminum, thermoplastics, twice as much even, it would still be difficult to account for the global population increase. The demand for these products would skyrocket, and therefore the industry emission approach might not be the best one. What about deforestation, just straight up reforesting areas? Well, recently in a 2009 study conducted by Strasbourg, it was found that between 17 and 25% of global carbon dioxide emissions are caused by deforestation. In a more recent study conducted actually by NASA in 2017, it was found that reforestation in the US alone could reduce our annual carbon dioxide emissions by up to 10 to 15%. And these numbers might jump out at you. These are pretty high numbers in terms of reducing global carbon dioxide emissions. And you'd be correct. Reforestation, in my opinion, is the best approach to reducing global carbon dioxide emissions, quite frankly. And one unfortunate part of reforestation is it takes a lot of trees to be replanted to actually have a significant impact. Now, the great thing is recently, RED was established. RED is a United Nations program dedicated to reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. It was founded in 1997 through the Kyoto Protocol, as I found out from a study from AgriWall in 2011. And it dedicated more industrialized countries to incentivizing third world countries to reforest areas. And this is a win-win situation, a win-win in that the third world countries get to have reforested areas, which benefits the globe on a large scale. And these countries also get to be reimbursed financially and get a chance to improve their economies. So win-win. And for this reason, I believe reforestation to be the best approach to reducing global carbon dioxide emissions. Now, all in all, I think if we could, a combination of these three approaches would be the best. But if I had to choose one, reforestation would be the most efficient. Now, unlike Interstellar, I'm not sure if you've seen the movie, but in the movie, the protagonist finds a wormhole, and that's how we're able to get to a new habitable planet through a wormhole. Now, unlike the movie, it's very unlikely we find a wormhole to get to a new habitable planet. We just have this one Earth, we have this one shot. And you take that into account and you say, well, if we've got this one planet, we might as well make the most of it.